Okay, today we have three people here, myself, Carol, Alba, my good friend, and Robert Caffrey, who is my brother. Okay, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be doing most of the talking, and then they have questions afterwards. Okay. Now, what other people say with other words, I say in terms of my theory of rewards and punishments. When a person suffers from mental, emotional problems, some people use various systems to help them. They have their own way of explaining what they're doing, and each person has a different system, it seems, to explain how they try to help people. What I use is my theory of rewards and punishments. In the analysis of the possible cause of the disagreeable situation, that is the problem that a person has, psychological or emotional or whatever it is, I wish to look with the person for a pattern in his life in regard to when this problem takes place. For example, this problem always takes place when I talk to John Jones, he might say. Okay, and it never takes place otherwise. Let's say he has delusions. Okay, it's always when I talk to John Jones. Then my next question to that person is, did John Jones ever punish you? And I expect him to say, oh, yes, he punished me every day. He'd be slapping me around every day.
Well, that's not nice.
No,
And
it's not.
it's not nice. Um, and that's what I would expect him to say. I would imagine that's what the person would say. Once we get this pattern, then there will be some kind of either punishment or reward. If he says, no, he never punished me, did he ever reward you? That would be my next question. Anyway, then I tell the person to write that person a letter and really tell him what he really thinks about the situation. In other words, you shouldn't have slapped me around. That really wasn't right. As you say, it's not nice. Okay, whatever you want to say to that person, because you're probably very angry with that person, and that's why you're having these delusions. Anyway, so then after he writes the letter, he should rip it up. He should not send that letter unless he wants to, but he probably doesn't want to. So anyway, and then as he writes, he begins to see more clearly and objectively the situation. He starts to see that, oh yeah, I would always pinch him. Maybe that's why he was always hitting me around the block, but still he shouldn't have done that. And then another thing he'll see maybe is he'll see it more clearly. He'll see other things that happened around the situation, who was egging this other guy on. He never noticed that until he remembers now. Oh yeah, Tom Jones was always there when this other guy did this. So anyway, there may be other, but also when he's writing it, if he has other bad memories, maybe they come from 30 years back that he actually forgot. He actually doesn't even know they happened at this present moment. But as he's writing the letter, they come back. One of them, let's say one comes back. He's lucky if it's just one. And maybe it was much worse than what this guy did. This guy just hit him around. But what happened 30 years ago could have been absolutely PTSD experience. So then he should, at that point, write a letter to the other person, that whoever that was that did him in at that time, write him a letter. But the person who's doing this exercise, Bob, are you getting bored with this?
No, I'm not. I'm just turning on the air conditioner.
Okay, so this memory from 30 years ago might come to him right while he's writing the letter. And then he realizes, oh, that is terrible. I didn't even know that happened. And now it comes back to me. That's what happened 30 years ago. And he suffers through that because it was a PTSD experience. Then he should also write a letter to that person. But he should never spend more than 45 minutes doing this per day because it's just a lot of work and a lot of suffering. This guy is going to have to relive, and that's very painful because it was a terrible experience when it happened. Well, let's say he saw somebody get murdered 30 years ago, and he had purposely put that out of his mind, but it was still there, hidden in the back of his mind. But now it came out in this process, because the reason he's having these delusions is because he has things back that are so terrible, and they just couldn't stay back there without causing problems anymore after 30 years. So they're coming to the fore. So he's got to get rid of all this baggage. And the way he does it in this case is by writing letters. So then the next day, let's say he comes back to it and he starts thinking, okay, I'm going to write another letter to that guy who did that 30 years ago, because that was really terrible. So he writes him another letter. As he's writing, he starts getting another memory, something else just even more or as terrible comes back to him, and he has to suffer through that. So this is a lot of work because it involves a lot of suffering, emotional suffering. Okay, so as he's writing, more memories might come. Maybe he has like 10 at a time that are coming, and he can't handle it. For that reason, he should have a friend of his who's in on this whole process, whom he can call in case it all comes at once. All these terrible memories come at once. He should have somebody to call that he can talk to calm him down, because he might not be able to handle that much bad memory all at once. That's why he hid it from himself in that part of his brain back there. He hides it from himself so he can't remember it after 30 years. And but I mean, until after 30 years, then it starts causing problems. So at this time, he has to unburden his shoulders of all these baggage that he's got. And the way he does it is by writing these letters. However, sometimes if it would get too serious, he should have a friend, and that friend should say to him, try to get him off the subject of the memory and try to get him onto anything else that he says. Let's say he says, oh, it's such a dark day out today. Just keep talking. Oh yeah, wasn't it terrible when it rained last week so much? The other guy should get his mind off the memory, because he can't, the guy said he couldn't handle it all at once. So try to get his mind away from it.
Screen.
Pardon me?
You're not watching the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess our time is up. So you didn't have a chance to ask your questions, though. I wanted the two of you to ask a question. We'll take 5 extra minutes
I
today.
didn't get a word in edgewise.
Oh, did you have a question in between?
Well, I was going to ask you right away, would you agree that rewarding people to not work, that's the kind of reward you're against, right?
Rewarding them because of rewards would be something that you do because of what they do. Now, if you state it like that, if you state it, I'm rewarding you because you don't work, then that is a reward. But you might state it a different way and say, I'm giving you money because you're starving to death. That would be a different, whole different thing. Those are two different things. If you're telling a child, if you don't work,
let's say you don't have a job, so you get crisis money, you get COVID lockdown money. You know, like what the government.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And people are staying home from work.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a bad reward, right?
That isn't a reward. That is because the person needs to eat. It's a need. That I don't consider, the definitions are very important of these words. I don't consider, let's say a baby cries and they want to eat. You're not rewarding the crying. You're finding out from the crying that they want to eat, and you give them food. You don't say, oh no, wait till you stop crying.
How about paying a ransom? Paying a ransom and somebody kidnaps you.
No, I don't believe in that, because.
And then you pay that you're rewarding him. Well,
no,
in effect, you are doing that.
They are doing that, and I don't know what I would do in those circumstances, but I think anything immoral, isn't a good idea. I mean, I just don't believe in immorality, but
Yeah, I don't think, immorality, I agree with that. That's
You know,
not,
you're making a very obviously immoral situation. And I'm just talking about simple rewards, everyday rewards. And my definition is when you do something because someone does something. And
well, your example though.
Can
Your
I-
example,
what?
yeah.
Oh, Alba has something to say. What do you want to say, Alba?
Well, my understanding of the reward or punishment is when I alter the behavior of a person. So if naturally I like to drink water, right? But I'm getting a reward to drink alcohol, then if I do it, then my natural behavior, which was just to drink water, is altered. So that's when the punishment comes to me because I'm doing something that is against my natural being, my natural behavior.
Your
So
interest.
that's what I understanding, is when somebody make you do something that is not your natural being. You're acting in a different way because of this type of.
So are you
elements.
saying that this person likes water at first? He goes for water. He enjoys drinking water. Is that what you're
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah, as an example is like, it's a natural way of behavior for a person. And then drinking water. And then this person probably got a reward if that person drinks alcohol. So even though they drink alcohol, that is wrong because it's against their natural behavior.
And what would the reward be? Money? Would they give him money if he drank alcohol?
Anything, money, or I don't know. I just saying that anything that altered or change the person behavior is when the problem starts because it's not natural. Got it?
Well, yeah, if it's natural, I think, yeah, that's if you work hard and then you make a lot of money, well, that's natural. You should have made
Yeah.
a lot of money. But if you just pick somebody,
But when you're working, you're exchanging. It's a contract. You're exchanging your
yeah,
your time and your knowledge for money, and you know that. So it's a trade. You train your time for
that's
money.
a good reward. That's a good
It's
reward.
not reward.
It's not a reward.
It's not reward.
It's an exchange. You have an agreement, you're getting money. That's the definition of a reward would not include a paycheck. But if you get a bonus, oh, you're the best worker here.
Right.
We're going to give you, that's the reward.
That's the reward. Yes.
Well,
All right.
There's a difference.
well, I don't see what's wrong with bonuses, but what
That's a
about
reward? We're just defining the word reward right now, according to the way I see it. Now, each person might have to
just
make up their own
defining it.
mind.
according to if it doesn't fit your theory, you're just
No,
you
I'm
just
talking
find
about
it-
extrinsic rewards. I'm not talking about intrinsic rewards.
I would say that's intrinsic to get a bonus because he probably did do a better job. Why shouldn't he get more money?
All right. So if we do a second video, probably we can discuss those points.
Yes, we better not have this too long. I'll turn this one off for today. And thank you for participating, everybody, Bob and
Oh, you're
Alba.
welcome.
Thank you.
And see how this turns out. Okay.
Okay.
But we stay. Bob, stay there.
Yeah, Bob put a little bit of sparks into our talk. We don't usually have such interesting talks.
I'm a very interesting person.